the recording, because right now you have gone.
Yes,
I mean,
sir.
I have taught you very little, right? So this tricky questions, I don't think that I should ask you these tricky questions early on, right? Public users, your mind is not.
Yes, sir.
I think that much ready to handle those
Yeah.
things. So see, alter table will be there, right? And then the table name. And what's the table
Yes,
name
sir.
here? Public users.
Table
Yes.
public dot users
Yes. Public is the
and add
same, right?
constraint.
Yes.
Yes.
Add
Add
constraint.
constraint.
Then
Constraint name.
okay. The thing is, have you seen? I mean, see, what I need to teach you is that when you have the data, right, then you should know how to use your brain as well. Right?
Yeah.
The thing is, when we have created the
Yeah. Yeah.
unique constraint, right? So you see the name
Yeah.
unique
Yeah.
constraint here, right? Are you
Yeah.
seeing
Yeah.
any constraint over here which is saying that it is a non-null constraint? And along one more thing, that it creates index, right? It is a part of an index.
Sorry, sir. Your voice is breaking.
Okay, what I'm saying, is it better now? Is
Yes,
it
sir. It's
better?
better now.
So I'm saying that
Yes, sir. It's
we have
better.
we have created unique constraint, right? Unique constraint we have created. So it is
Yeah.
visible
Yeah.
that email and phone number has a unique constraint, right? And it has created the index out of it. So it is visible over
Yeah.
here.
Yeah. Yeah.
Great. So the primary key index is also there, and we haven't created an index of primary key while creating the table only. We just added that this particular column is a primary key, so by automatically Postgres created the primary key for us, right? We haven't created a specific key, but we still have three items over here, right? Three constraint we
Yes.
have, and
Yeah. Yeah.
of not null, right? But are you seeing them here, right? It's a part of an indexes. Because the thing is, if we try to add
Yeah. Yeah.
a constraint, then it needs to create an index to validate that particular constraint. For a unique constraint, it requires some B tree data, right? Because otherwise, how
Yes,
will,
sir.
I mean, and why it requires B tree? Just to process the thing faster. Because if you have 10 rows, and then you need to find out that, okay, whether if you have 10 students, right, A B C D E F G, let's suppose five students you have, A B C D. Now, and let's suppose these
So your
students.
voice is breaking.
Okay, is your internet
Your voice is
is your
breaking.
connection good? Okay, let
Yeah.
me
It's
just
good,
drop the
sir.
Bluetooth for a while. Is this better now?
Yes, sir. It's better.
Okay, there might be a case that my Bluetooth is having some issue. Cool, no issues.
Oh.
So let's go
Okay.
back to see. But the thing is, we have seen three types of constraint till now, right? First is the primary key
Yes.
constraint, second unique key, and third is null. So
Yes,
out
sir.
of these three, the two constraint is visible over here, right?
Yes, sir. Yes.
But we have three more constraints of not null, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Even the primary key is also not null. It is nullable, but it's not showing over here, right?
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
it is not like when we give the name, then that particular name should be visible here. We give the name because it requires index. Some constraint require index, and that index needs a name. When we create an index, then it requires a name. So that's why
Yes.
few constraints needs name, because while their internal implementations require index, because if they don't use
Okay.
index and you already have 5 user with name A B C D E, then if
Okay.
you and try to enter F, then you need to find out first, right, that F does not exist in those previous 5 columns, right?
Yes.
So
Yes.
your time complexity is on. So
Yeah. Yeah.
it is good for the 5 rows, right? But if your rows has 10 million or 100 million or 1 billion records,
Yeah. Yeah.
then just to check a particular constraint, it's going to take a lot of time.
Yes.
So we require something
Yes.
which can be faster, right? We cannot work with
Yes, sir.
log n. We at least require log n or o1. These
Yes, sir.
complexities we require. That's why we use b-tree for it, right?
Yes.
Okay, cool. So, but not null constraint does not require indexes, right? Because what is
Yes, sir.
not null? Not null is just before putting the data, you just need to check whether this value is null or not, right?
Yes, sir.
So we don't need to create a give a name to the constraint, right?
Yeah.
Or do we require?
We don't require, sir.
Yes. See, And other thing is that even though it's called a constraint, right, not null constraint, but
Yeah.
if I want to add it, so I don't have to add it as a add constraint. What I'll do, I'll alter column. Cool. And which column I will alter? I will alter first name.
Email.
Cool.
First name.
And then what I'll set not null. Then what will happen when I'll do this? The table is altered, right? And when I'll say that please describe the users, then now my first name is not null,
Yeah.
right?
Okay.
So even
Yes.
though it is a category of null constraint, right? And why I'm
Yes,
saying
sir.
it's a constraint, if I'll try to insert into public users, right? Insert into public users, right? I'm not adding table
Yeah.
over here because
Yeah.
table will be used while I use the DDL. This is
Yeah.
DQL. So
DML.
insert into public users and then values, and then if I id is integer, and let's suppose, okay, first I require the data, public, and then users
Users.
and zero row. Cool, great.
Yeah.
So insert into
Into
values
values.
and then 1, and then
ID.
first name is integer, then let's say test. Okay, don't add test, right? So enter null, and last name, and then email,
Name.
and then phone number,
Phone number. Phone
and
name.
then we have taken phone number as a string, so we can add anything, plus 919999999. Cool. So if I enter this, right?
Yes, sir.
Okay, it's saying the issue at 1 syntax error in, okay, my bad, public
In
users, right?
public data. Yes.
Error, null column value in column first violates null constraint, right?
Yes,
Database
sir.
also calls it a constraint,
Yes.
but it's a column level constraint as well.
Yes, sir.
Like whenever we say, but it's a column level constraint.
Construct.
And when we say unique constraint, right, unique
Yes, sir.
constraint is data level constraint.
Yes, sir.
And I mean, you are getting my point, right?
Yes,
This
sir. Yes,
is
sir.
your DDL level constraint, that your structure should be not nullable, right?
Not
So this is
nullable.
DDL level constraint. That's why when I need to make changes, then I use alter command, right? And
Yeah.
alter with alter column. Okay, where I
Yes.
used, see, alter table, then alter column,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Otherwise, what we used to do, alter table but add constraint, right?
Yeah. Constraint.
So
For data level
yes, but this nullable is attached to the
column.
column. So
Column. Yes.
this column email, oh sorry, this column first name should not be nullable. So
No,
this
no,
is
no.
not data level, this is a structure level, right? So that's why we go with not null and set value, right? Like we usually do in the column names. So
Yes.
if I need to change the size from 225 to 1001, then also we will do the same thing, right? We need to update the size, then alter table,
Yes.
then alter column, and then update the
Alter
size, right?
column. Updates.
So
Yes.
these are when we want to make changes to a particular column, a structure
Column.
level, then alter column will be used. If we want to add constraint, even though it is also constraint, right? It is a null constraint, but it's a structure level constraint, right? Not the data level constraint. That's why we are not
Yes.
say using add constraint. We are using alter column, because column
Alter
structure
column.
we are trying to alter. Cool.
Yes.
This first thing, it's, I mean, this comes again the tricky part, and I should
Yes.
not have asked you this question because, I mean,
Yeah.
okay, in interviews one can ask, but not as a when we are
Yeah.
teaching. Cool. So the next thing, okay, cool. Let's move forward. So we have seen this one thing.
Uh, your voice is again breaking in
Okay.
in between.
Okay, let me check my internet connection. Is it too unstable? Because I think I'm speaking already loudly. Hello. Hi.
Yeah, voice is good, sir.
Yeah.
Able to hear, but when the flow is going on, in between it is breaking.
Okay. Okay. But see, the thing is, I don't. Okay, maybe there might be a chance because I make. I mean, right now it's good, right?
Yes, sir. Now it's good.
Okay, cool. I mean, the thing is, sometimes I start to speak slowly as well. So no issues. Let's go back. I'll try to maintain the decibels of my voice. Okay, cool. So we have seen three constraints. Out of
Yes, sir.
this, primary and
Unique and not null.
not null, right? So not null is a structure level constraint, right?
Yes, sir.
So, and if you want to change the structure, we will use alter with alter column, not with add constraint, right? For date for data level constraint, we use add constraint, right?
Yes,
So
sir.
three things we have already covered, right? Okay,
Mhm.
let's just move it. So one, two, three. So constraints. Out of these constraints we have seen primary key, which is created by its own, right? We haven't created it. And then unique constraint, and the third null constraint. Cool. Three things we have covered till now. Now we will see the next three, 4, 5 and 6. The very first is check constraint, right? Check constraints, a lot of people don't know. That thing I'm telling you upfront, a lot of people don't know and don't even know how to use it. So there might be a chance that users that we need to alter the table as well. So for check constraint, okay, okay. So what can for check constraint. Okay, let's say, are you aware of enums in Java?
No, sir.
Okay, then okay, cool. See what happens when you have a status, right? When you have some states, like for example, if you are attempting a test, right? If you are attempting an online test, that what could be your state? Test not started, right?
Yes, sir.
This will be a state, right? Not started. The next state could be
Started.
started. And after started, okay, my bad. Then after started, what the state could be?
In
Paused.
progress of something.
Paused, right?
Positive.
You are going on a break. So
Yeah,
the
yeah.
next thing can be
Completed.
completed, right? This is the normal states, and then abrupt state could be
Mhm.
terminated.
Terminated.
And why terminated? Terminated because you were cheating and doing some other thing.
Yeah.
So the proctor
Mm.
or the
Yeah, yeah.
invigilator terminated your this, right?
Yes.
So let's suppose that these five are the states that one require, right? And we have gone through in the last session that uh, is it better to hold this value, not started, started, paused, or is it better to hold some integer values?
Integer values.
Yes. So what happens when you use the enums? Then these values becomes this ordinal. We call them ordinal. Ordinal means in the order in which they occurs, right? So
Yeah, yeah.
it is at the zero, right? In Java,
Yeah.
in data structures, we start with zero, right?
Yes, sir.
From zero we start, and why we start, it's a part of data structure lectures. So
Yeah.
this thing 3 and this 4, right?
Yes, sir.
So only 4 states. And why we are using constraint? We are using constraint just to make sure our system is consistent, right?
Consistent. Yes.
So if I put the state of a user 10, will it
Yes.
make sense?
No, sir.
It won't make sense. I mean the data can be 10, but the thing
Yes,
is
sir.
for our system it won't make sense, right? So our data
Yes.
would not be consistent. Because if I
Yes.
try to get the data, the students who are states is not started or paused or completely terminated, completed or terminated, then let's suppose
Yes.
if I have 1 lakh students, then and one value of 10,
Yes.
then what will happen? That only 99,999 candidates I will select, and one data will be corrupted, right? So the
Yes, sir.
state of my database is not consistent.
Consistent.
Cool. So let's add one column, alter table,
Yes.
public
Public dot
user,
users.
add column,
Add column.
and then do you know how to add columns?
Status. Then same.
State.
State. Varchar or int. I think will store
Okay.
numbers.
Okay. Small int or
Small
int. Let's take int. We'll couldn't add
int.
even do.
Yeah.
That's it.
Yes.
Okay, cool. And then if I'll ask it, then I have, okay, oh, default.
State is added, no sir. Last one.
Okay, cool. Yes, cool,
Yes.
cool. All right. So
Yes.
state is added now.
Yes.
Okay, but the thing is again,
All
alter table public
table name
users, फिर alter
column
column and column name is state
state
set not null.
null
Cool.
set not null
Now it's now it's better, right?
dot null. Yes.
Okay. It's not null, right? And
Yes.
select star from public users and empty, right? If I had a
And
single data and the data it does not add the state, then I won't be able to add the data, right? Because the
yes.
table
Yes.
constraint requires my data to have some values, right?
Yes.
Cool.
Yes.
So let's clean this screen down and let's what we are going to do. Okay, cool. So if I want to insert
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 into
uh, in public
table
users
name
and
values
then one,
ID 1.
and see the this thing, this plain will give error or not for string values.
No, not error, sir. Not. It will
Yes,
consider as a empty string.
yes, nice. So if I try to enter it, then it won't throw an error, right? To throw an error,
Yes.
that it should be null, right? So let's take it Ashok, and okay, first name Ashok. What's your last name?
Varma, sir.
Verma.
Yeah. VA, sir.
B for ball.
No, sir. VA.
Okay, VARMA.
Yes, yes.
Okay, all right. And then
Uh,
Ashok at the
at
rate
the rate
gmail.com,
gmail.com.
and let's suppose 91 and 99999, right? Enter, and we have some data, right, in our system. So if we try to see, then we will be having your data,
Yes.
right? So let's take the same thing again, right? And
Yeah.
then instead of one state, if I enter 10,
ID already
okay,
exists.
it's a primary key constraint, right? That
Yeah,
violates.
yeah, yeah.
Okay, so 2, right? Okay,
Duplicate key
okay,
violates.
number.
Phone number is duplicate.
Okay, okay,
Phone number is duplicate.
cool. 989999. Email ID. Okay, cool. See now
Email ID.
it forced us that please use different, right? Ashok,
Yeah, yeah.
Ashoka the Great, right? Now again
Yes,
we were able to post the unique consent, right? So while we are just
yes.
testing also, our system is so robust that it is forcing us to enter the correct data, right? So
Correct. Yeah,
till phone number, it is forcing us to enter the correct data. But the thing
yeah,
is, post that, it is not making sense as well, right? Because again,
yeah.
when you
State inconsistent.
yes. So the thing is, how can I make sure that in our data, and in my data does not have this thing, right? So what I'll do,
Yeah.
I'll alter again, right? Alter table public and then users,
Table.
right? Then I will
Yeah. Alter column.
no, now not alter column, now add constraint.
Add constraint. Yeah.
Okay, because now I'm not changing, I'm not making changes on the column level, right? I'm making changes
Yeah.
on the data level, right?
Data
Not
level.
null
Yeah.
is a data level thing, unique is a data
Yes.
level thing, and
Yeah.
this, I mean, this value range is
Yeah.
also a data level thing, right?
Data
So
level
I
everything.
can add
Yeah.
a constraint, and what I'll do in constraint, when
Check
I add the constraint, what happens? Then I need to give them the
constraint
constraint name as well,
name.
right?
Yes.
Constraint, I'm just making it in uppercase so it is more easily visible. Then let's say that it's a state check, right?
Yeah.
This is the name, right?
Yeah.
And then I need to write the check. Remember
Check
when
constraint.
I need to add the unique constraint, and I need to write unique over here, right?
Yeah.
If I
Yes.
want to make sure that it is a primary key constraint, then
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
need to add the primary. I'll write primary
Primary.
key here, right?
Yes, yes.
So and then inside this I need to add my check, right? So
Yeah.
what is my check, right? That the value should be
0 to
less
4.
than 5, right?
Yes, yes.
So the state should be
Less than 5.
right. If I try to enter this, what's saying it is validated by some row, right?
Some
Because
row.
the
Yeah.
10 is not validating
Yeah.
this
We
thing.
need to we
Let
need to delete the record.
okay, okay, we can update it as well, right?
Yeah, yeah. We can update it.
What's
Update.
the way to update?
Update. We need to give the table name.
Update table name, okay.
Set column state is equal to
Set column state equals to true. Do we require column?
column names.
We don't require column or column name. See,
Yeah.
again, column is
Yeah.
required. You have seen over here column where
Yeah. Yeah.
alter command, in alter command you have seen column, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay, we have removed this thing, but in see, again, the thing is when you are making changes in the structures, then you
Yeah.
require to mention that it is a column, make changes on a column, make changes on a table or a view. But
Yeah.
if you
Yeah.
are just getting the data, you have mentioned the table, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
You have to mention the table, then it's a row or a column. Two
Yeah. Yeah.
aspects are already there, right? Not more than two.
Yeah.
And the
Yeah.
row will have the data and the state will try will you'll go to the column, right? So if
Yes.
you
Yes.
have used the set, then there is no other way for database. I mean, you
Yeah.
cannot change anything else rather than some value in the
That.
column, right?
Yes.
So
Yes.
and we haven't used the where check, right? Where constraint we
Yeah.
haven't used. So that's why
We
what will happen, our all data,
all the records will
yes, has
change
to
it to true.
change, right? So again, what we'll do, we will alter table
Table
public users, right?
just
Users. Then we will add constraint,
constraint
and it will be state check
state check
user test. Let's write complete, yeah. User test state check, right?
check
And then check,
and check
and inside that is
state
state,
less than 5.
okay, this
Yes.
thing, right? And enter.
Yes.
Table altered, cool.
Yeah.
Now
Now we will
if I'll
set
say that
record.
please describe me the table, then see over here it is a check constraint,
Check
it's visible
constraint.
over here, right? Under the
Yeah.
check constraint section. Then
Yes.
it's obvious now if I try to insert into
Insert to
public users, right? And then two values are there, right? Then 3, and let's take some Ashish, and then empty, he don't believe in caste system, and then Ashish @gmail.com, and then okay, phone number, okay, Ashish is also having 91, and then 8888888, this thing.
yeah.
And now if I try to add
6
6,
values, sir. We need to add values in the query. Values
nice.
text is
Filling row
filling
constraint,
row contents.
see, user,
Yes.
a new role for relation users violates the check constraint,
Check
user test
constraint.
check constraint, right?
Yes.
Failing row constraint और इसने value दे दी, cool. I mean,
Yeah.
it has shown that this thing. See, the thing is the thing with this database things, why I mentioned that we should name our constraints up with the proper values, why we should entertain it. The reason is, see over here, if you go and try to see this thing, right,
Yes.
you
Yes.
won't be able to understand anything out of it.
Yeah. Yeah.
And over here if you also see, and if my this check is also not properly mentioned, then it will be
Yes.
hard for us to know what's happening over here, right? At least for some, or at least for a person who has not designed this database or who is completely new. If some person
Yeah.
from other team is trying to help you in during some
Yeah.
case, so it will be very difficult for them to understand, right? So this is why
Yes.
if someone comes and say, okay, user test state check constraint fails, right? Check constraint fails
Yes.
and this, right? So one thing
Yes.
that one can do, it's they will do this thing, and they will be able to, okay, this state should be equal to less than 5, then it's completely cool, no issues, life is awesome,
Yeah.
life is good. Otherwise if
Yes.
it's not visible over here, they don't know how to check these things, then
Yeah.
they will go to the Java enum class and then try to
Yeah.
see how many values is in the enum, right? So the
Yeah,
enum
yeah.
will look, you will see the enum like this, a column apart, enum will be visible like this, and this 1
Okay.
2 3 4 will not be there in Java enum. So they will understand that okay, 0 1 2 3 4, 4 values should be the max, and it is matching with the state, and then
Yes.
everything will work, right? So again, now with our latest with our single table which we have created till now, with this table what we have done, now we have added multiple constraints with our table, right?
Yes,
We
sir.
are trying to make sure we are not going to use this table. We are going to delete
Yeah.
it, or we'll make
Yeah.
a new table when using it, and we'll rename the table name, right?
Yes.
because
Yes.
because we are just, I mean, we need to otherwise we need to enter different data, unique data again and again, and it will consume a lot of time, right? So we have seen the check constraint, right? So check
Yes, sir.
constraint also will be created by default if you use the Postgres. You don't need to add it. What will the Postgres do? It will check that okay, you have 5 values over here, and Postgres will automatically put the this constraint into your database. But what will happen, we will see in the later on while doing the Spring Boot classes, that we don't allow Spring Boot is Hibernate is able to create the structure, the detail command on its own, right? So if Hibernate will see that okay, the enum has 5 values, then it will put the check constraint on its own, right?
Okay,
But
sir.
what's wrong with this thing is, let's suppose right now we have only at a certain time we had only 3 4 stages, right? And for terminated cases also we were using completed, which is wrong,
Yes.
right? If you want data
Yeah.
that give us the details of the completed test, that tests that are successfully ended, or tests that are ended by the proctor. So
Yes.
we need to have some different data, right? Otherwise we need to depend on some entirely different data, right? So
Yes.
in a single database query we won't be able to get this data. So
Yeah.
in future we wanted to add one more state, right?
Yeah.
So but you have created this with using the Hibernate. So Hibernate has
Yeah.
created a check where the value should be equal to or less than 3. So
Yes.
when you
Yes.
try to enter the 4 value, the database will throw an error, right?
Yeah.
It won't accept because you will try to make the database inconsistent with its values. So it won't allow,
Yes.
because constraint will stop you from making the system inconsistent, right?
Yes.
Cool. So again, then you will come and you will update this value, right?
Yes. Yes.
But what will happen if you allow this, that every time you change the data you need to come to the database and you need to apply a alter command. And the
Yes.
thing is, not every user is having alter command accesses, right? We are not going to
Yes.
see this today, but if you see over here, my user is Postgres, right? In last session I have entered details with Postgres user, right?
Yes, sir. Yes.
Okay, let me just exit it as well, right?
Yeah.
So I'm going to again log in. PS minus u Postgres. That means I need to use PSQL and
Yes.
Postgres SQL, and minus use means I'm about to enter my
Username.
username, and the Postgres is my username, right? And then I
Yeah.
will enter my password, and then
Yeah.
I'm inside the database, right? Then I'll connect to the
Yes.
Swiggy, right?
Yes.
And whichever user database is. Then what will happen over here? You can also see that this is only one user, right? So
Yeah.
I mean it was not required for me to again log in, but over here you can see that this is super user, right? We will
Yeah.
see
Yeah.
we will see in future that what are the roles that are there by default in the Postgres systems, and which we
Yes.
can provide and which we can revoke. All those things we will see, but not in today's class. So over here you can
Yes.
see
Yes.
that my user is super user, right? And
Yes.
then it has create role, create DB role,
With
replicate,
the
and these all those
replication.
things. It is a super user, and it doesn't make sense if it has these threes or not. But
Yeah.
only super user make sure that it can do anything, right? But
Yes.
all our users are not able to do those kind of things, right? So every
Yes.
time I update my column or add some value, right? If some fresher joins the firm, I do,
Yeah.
and they're not, I mean it's not mandatory for them to understand all the databases, right? in
Yes. Yes.
in, in entire tables, and they won't even know that okay, this particular enum is being used in some class that is an entity. So they will be
Yes.
unaware, and by being unaware they will update the data or they will fail the data, right? If they
Yes.
allow DDL commands to be created by the Hibernate, then every time the data will be created and the column will be dropped.
Yes. Yes.
Okay, just give me 1 second. Just give me 1 second, I'll be back.
Yes.
Okay, cool. So let's start again. So where were we? Check
Uh,
constraint. Okay,
yeah,
so we
yeah,
if we
roles.
allow the Hibernate to create the DDL commands, all right, to run the DDL commands. So what happens if someone just by default, if someone removes a column,
Yeah.
and that too subconsciously or by mistake, right?
Yes. Yes.
And
Yes.
that code runs on the live server, then
Yeah.
Hibernate will think that okay, you are trying to drop a column,
Yeah.
and it will drop that column.
Yes.
So, and this is just one thing. And if someone adds a few more checks, then it will update the checks. This one, when I'm saying check, then check constraint, right? So those
Yes. Yes.
things, creating a table and then updating some value, making a value not null, I mean not null constraints. So it will keep on adding those things, and which will make eventually our database inconsistent or delete our data, right? It will
Yes.
have an impact on our data. So nobody allows
Mm.
Hibernate to run the DDL commands on its production servers, right?
Okay.
So these things we add on our own. I'm just letting you know, right? We will cover this in
Yes.
our Hibernate sessions as well when we'll do
Yes.
the
Yes.
Spring Spring Boot, an
Yes.
upfront thing. So okay, cool. Now so we are done with our check constraint, right? So
Yes. Sir.
you will know that check constraint is important again, but the thing is, your system might become inconsistent if you don't apply the check constraint. But the thing is,
Yes.
check constraints again take some time, right?
Yes.
not
Sir.
not great time. I mean, it's not like the index is unique index, right? It a unique constraint, it's not taking that much time that unique constraint will take if your database is of way too large of size, right? In millions and billions records if you have.
Yes.
But again, it is some additional operation, right?
Yes.
Like
Yes.
nullable is also very few O1 operation. It is an also O1 operation, right? We just need to check whether the value is less than or greater than, it's O1 value operation. But again, it
Yes.
takes time. It's not like you can add a lot of constraint, it will impact your DB query, right?
Yes. Yes.
Cool. But still, null constraint and check constraints are better than unique constraint, because unique constraint consume a lot of time. Cool.
Yeah. Yeah.
Let's then go ahead, and the next would be default constraint and foreign key constraint,
Yes.
right? These two
Yes. Sir.
are left. Okay, so the one thing that we can add with the default key constraint, let's cover default key constraint first, and then we will uh, we will move forward. Let's do one thing in our user, in our users. Uh, okay, alter, call alter
The
table
table
public
dot
users,
user.
and if I want to drop something,
Yeah.
is this command right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay,
Users. Sir. Users. Yes.
okay, right. For drop column,
Yeah.
we need to just write drop column, right?
Yeah.
So that's why I say this is the most easiest thing in the entire computer science. Database is the most easiest item available,
Yes.
because
Yeah.
this is written just to make sure that a layman can access the database without having some knowledge of coding. That's why
Yeah.
for computer science people, it is, we find it way too easy, right? Okay, you're not
Yes.
from the computer science, right?
Yeah. I'm from mechanics.
Okay, then too it's not, I mean, you have gone through the coding part, right, in your life.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
Yeah.
this is
Yes.
this is written just to make sure that non-coding people will able to get the data, right? But we are
Get
also
the
using
data.
it because again we know how to write code, but we won't be writing code again and again to fetch the data only, right? It
Yes.
is
Yes.
easy for us also. So
Yes.
very basic item, alter table, right? I have
Yes.
written alter because again this is changing the structure of the database, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
That's why alter and the drop column. Now you
Yeah.
understand it, right? So I have dropped the column state, and then let's say now there is no state, right?
Yes.
So again, what I want, okay, okay. So no, I have to create the table again, but I don't want to create the table again. Mm, 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 mm. Okay, okay. Should we create the table again, or should we not create the table again?
We can continue with existing submerge.
Come again?
If it is possible, means we can continue with existing table.
Okay, no. So they're not. we will change this thing, but we're not doing it right now.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. So let's test your thing as well.
Yeah.
Now, uh, now users, we have users, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
So if my table is already created, right?
Yes.
If my table is already created, and now I want to, let's suppose that there's an alter, let's add the command again, alter
Table.
table public users and add column state,
Mm.
right, int. Cool. So
Yeah.
state we have added, right?
Yes.
And now I need to alter table public users add constraint, right, and
Uh,
then test state,
yeah, check.
test valid state
Check.
constraint, right, and then check,
Check.
and then
State.
state is
Less
less than
than.
greater than 5, right?
Yes.
Okay, cool. So we have done this, right? This thing we have done earlier as well, right?
Yes. Yes.
So now I need to make sure that it should have some default value, right?
Yes. Yes.
So how can I do that? If I don't add any value, then the default value this should be 1, right? 1 should be the
Yeah.
not
Yeah.
started state, right?
Yeah.
Let's add the not started state a 0 as a not started state. So how should
Yes.
I write the value, the command alter table public
A
users, right,
table.
and add. Now okay, now what should I do?
It's for the column, no, sir. We need to. Uh, it's like I need to think once it's related to column or data purpose. It's related to column purpose, so we need to
It's
like
okay,
uh,
cool. Let's not consume a lot of time
yes,
because
alter
there are a lot of things
alter
you need to cover. So I mean,
alter
let me
state.
answer. So this will be, even though this will seems that it is affecting the data, right?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
But it will be at the column level, right? The
Column
state
level. Yes,
state level default values will be 0, right?
yes, yes.
So
So
it will be
alter column,
nice. Yes, it will be alter column, right?
the column.
Alter
Yes.
column. I mean, in one day, I don't expect you to
Yeah,
get that knowledge, but the thing is
yeah,
you are thinking in that particular direction, right? And
yeah.
again, the thing is, you as a developer also, you don't require this much knowledge, right, of database.
Yes,
But
yes.
because I know, I'm just teaching it, right? Because it's not
Yeah,
like
yeah, yeah.
these things you should know, because I
Yes,
know,
sir.
I'm just teaching you. That's
Yeah,
nothing
yeah.
else. The main thing is that you need to know that these type of constraints exist. If you don't know these type of constraints exist, you won't be able to use it, right?
Yes, sir.
Like
Yes, sir.
I use multi-threading a lot in my company, right?
Yes, sir.
And the thing
Yeah.
is, people sometimes get amused that okay, this is how also we can use these things. But the
Yes,
thing
yes.
is, if you don't know, I teach, I know, right? I do coding a
Yes,
lot.
sir.
So that's why if I
Yes.
know, then I can use it, right? If it is required somewhere.
Yes, sir.
Even as
Yes.
a frugal hack also, I use a lot
Yeah.
of time multi-threading and different concepts of the language.
Yes.
So the
Yes.
thing is, if you know only, then you will be able to answer these questions. You will be able to understand it. Or if someone tells you something, then you will be aware that okay, these things exist, right? If you're not able to know or judge whether this thing should be is altering the database, or then it's not a big deal, right? You can just Google it and get the data, right? So
Yes, sir.
don't require to dive deep into that if you're not too much interested. But it just, my work is just
Uh,
to make sure that you start thinking in a right direction. Then whether to continue or
yeah.
not, or it's your thing, right? But this is not
Yeah.
way too mandatory item that nobody is going to ask you these things, right? I'm just
Yes.
letting you know.
I-
Don't
I'm interested, sir.
come again.
Yes. I'm interested, sir. Like,
Okay, so we have a alter table public users
yeah,
and then alter column
column state
state and then set and
set
then again default, right?
default.
Set default. Last time what we have done?
Set not null, sir.
Yes. So set default and then default value 0, right?
0.
Enter,
Yes.
right? So now if I do, okay, let's see the data that we have in our table, right?
So let's start from public dot users.
Right. This is the data that we have, right?
Yeah.
Now try to insert into,
Set
okay,
into
my bad. Public
public dot
and
users
and then values and
values
then enter,
ID
then
ID value 3.
one and then then nothing, and then ashish@gmail.com,
Gmail.com, phone number.
and then and this something unique, and then state, right?
Yes, sir. ID will be this.
We get the error, right?
Yes,
So
const.
how can I add? So the thing is, if I do this and this null, okay, key ID already, yeah, one, okay, 3, right? So
Yes.
it get inserted, right? So first thing that
Yes.
one should know, that it's not like if you have put something, then you will be able to leave that
Yeah.
particular column, right? You need to
Yes.
enter that particular thing, try to enter, but you can enter null,
Yes.
right? If I don't
Yes.
enter null and if I try to enter 9,
Yeah.
okay, there will be many checks that will fail. Okay, cool, let's leave that. This will be
Yes.
this will fail the that check, right? Check constraint check.
Yeah.
So
Yes,
select
sir.
star from public user. If I do
Public
this,
dot users.
so right now also there
Default
is
value. No. Yeah.
state is not 0, right?
Yes. Yes.
It's null still. So what's the use of default? And if we try to see d users, default value is 0, right?
Yes.
It's not like it's not updated, right? Default is
Yes.
0 for this particular state.
Yes.
So if we have put null, then let's delete the data first. IDs
Delete
delete from public
from the
users where ID equals to 3.
where ID is equal to 3.
Why we have deleted? Because we want to enter the data again, right?
Yes.
Otherwise it won't let us to enter data. So if I put 2,
Again, this
okay,
checks is there.
why check constraint is the state should be greater than 5. Ah, shit.
Yes.
Okay. So we need to update the check.
Alter table.
Alter table
Table.
public users. See
Alter.
what we are checking doing right now.
Yes.
We are trying to
Alter
override.
column.
Alter add constraint.
Yeah.
Add constraint, and then constraint name. Then constraint name should be wait test valid constraint, right?
Yes.
And then check, and then state should be less than 5, not greater than 5, right? If I try to do that again, then what will I'll get? Oh wait, the query is wrong, so let's just try to end it. Yes, copy paste. If I try to run this, then what I'll get? Error, because this relation already created, right?
Yes.
It is not some variable like we can replace the value with, right?
Yeah.
So what we need to do, we need to remove that particular constraint, right?
Yes.
And there can be multiple things. The first thing is that we can drop the column. We can drop the table and create a new table, right?
Yes.
And the other thing will be
Removing the constraint.
drop the constraint, right?
Yes.
So how can we drop the constraint?
Drop constraint. It's column level means DDL command also.
Alter, alter, right? We have created the
Yes.
constraint using alter, right?
Yes. Alter
So
table.
we will
Table
use
name.
alter only public users,
Dot
right?
users. Drop.
Then
Alter column.
alter column.
Like a constraint is related to column, no sir. So do we require to specifically mention about column here in the query?
Okay, so you're saying that for this, okay,
Yeah,
then
the
alter
constraint
column.
is yes.
Alter and then column. Yes, state, column name is in
call
state, right?
state drop
Drop.
check something like I am forming query on my own.
Okay. Okay, no issues. I mean, but the thing is, it's not required to add the column, right?
Okay.
On creating, on creating also, like if I want to create a constraint,
Yeah,
what
yeah.
I'll do, alter table public user, right? Public users,
Yes, yes. Yeah,
add
yeah.
constraint, right?
Constraint. Yeah,
And then I
yeah.
directly add the constraint
Yeah.
name, and
And
then the
constraint.
type of constraint, check or unique, right? And
Uh,
inside this I give the name, right?
yeah,
And
yeah,
the
yeah.
value, if the value of the name
Col-
of the column, right?
col- column. Yeah.
So if on creation I haven't used the column,
Yeah, yeah.
alter column, then why I require when I need to drop, right?
Yes, yes.
So alter table, right? That's good.
Yeah. No drop constraint.
Nice.
Drop constraint, and we need to give constraint name like which we want to drop. Yeah.
Oh, copy and paste, and then copy and then paste, right? And now if we'll see users table again, no check constraint, right?
Yes.
So let's try to add a
Constraint.
check constraint.
Alter table name.
Public users,
Let's add
add
constraint.
constraint,
Constraint name.
and just put the same name again,
Yeah.
and check
And check
what I need to check.
state
State should be
column should be less than 5.
less than 5, right?
Yes.
So now I have a constraint, right?
Yeah.
Now if I try to insert the value with null,
Yeah.
then if I select star from public and then users, then again you will see the state will be null again, right?
Yes.
Even on, and but the thing is, default still holds 0.
Yes.
But why it's not inserting, why I'm not getting the value of this? And even not, it is not like if I'm not getting its value when I'm just trying to start from public users where id equals to 3. It's not like it will, oh, where id equals to 3, it is not like it will give the data when I'll try to pick a single data, right?
Yeah.
It
Yeah.
is not updating the data, right?
Yes.
So
Yes.
when I'm adding null,
Yeah.
so it is, and what if, and it is not null, right? It is empty right now. It is null, it's not even showing null, right?
Yes.
So if I drop the table, dropped, not drop, delete from public users where id equals to 3, right? So
Yes.
if I make, if I do alter and alter table,
Table
then public users,
dot
and then
users.
alter column state,
Column state.
right? And
Yes.
set
If,
not null, right?
yes.
Now what's the issue?
Column state contains null values. We need to remove that existing null records from the table.
We need to remove.
Remove the records because the
Yes,
available
yes,
records in the
yes.
table has null value.
Okay, so select star from
Star from
public
public dot
users
users
where
state equal
state,
to null.
come again.
State is null.
Yes, see, two
Two
entries
records.
we have in our
Yes.
system which have the null values, right?
Yes.
So what I need to do, I need to delete. Oh wait,
Delete.
Achha, okay, I have deleted this thing already, right?
Yes. Yes.
Okay, so let's truncate now. Truncate table,
Table public dot users.
like, why I need to use table with truncate? Because truncate is DDL command, right?
DDL.
Alright, now where were we? Okay, insert into, right? Insert into.
Yeah.
Now set nullable first, and then we will try to insert insert null value, and if I try to enter, then it will give us the null constraint, right?
Yes.
And if I don't enter, now it's completely fine, right?
Yeah.
And let's do star from public users. Cool.
Yeah.
See, data 0 there.
Yes. Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
So what we have seen last time, what
Now
we have
we
done,
have.
we have created two checks which were two constraints we have added last time that
Yes.
were contradicting each other.
Yeah.
We added the constraint 0, right? We added that the value should be greater than 5,
Yeah.
and we have provided default value 0.
0. Yes. Yes.
So both were contradicting, right?
Contradiction. Yes. Yes.
So that's why when we were not entering this
Yeah.
this without the value of the state, when we were trying to enter, then it was trying to
Yeah.
enter 0, and 0
Yes.
was failing the check of
The
state.
check constraint. Yeah.
Yes,
Yeah.
check constraint, it was failing the check of check constraint. That's why we were not able
Yeah.
to enter the data. So now what happens, if you have some default value, then you
Yeah.
don't need to enter in the values section, right?
Yes.
You don't need to add it. If you don't need to add it, then it will be taken by
By
default.
default will be
The
0.
default value
Yes.
will be taken by default, right? Cool. Okay, let's move forward then. So now the thing is foreign key constraint, right? So for
Yeah.
foreign key, we need to create table. Let's suppose orders, right?
Orders.
Then orders. Then what should we do with orders? Orders will be having some ID, right?
Yes. Order ID.
And ID will be integer.
Yes.
Order will be primary key,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
So a single table we have created, right? Now what we'll do, we'll just alter the table.
Yeah.
Alter table,
Table. Orders.
add column,
Column.
and then what
Co-
should be the things with order? Order should have a date, like
Item. Like.
come again.
Or a ordered item. Something.
Add ID, add column ID, and that to integer, and not ID, product ID.
Product ID.
Product ID, right?
Yeah.
It should have product ID, right?
Yeah.
So nice. We have done one thing with this, that we are adding the product ID.
Yeah.
And what it should have a date, right? Order when
Yes.
the order is created.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
but we can leave it. We are just trying to see the foreign key
foreign.
constraint.
Yeah.
So what we can do is, right, okay, let's even drop table orders, create an order tables from the scratch, right? So
Yeah.
create table
Create table.
public orders, right? And
Yeah.
then inside this integer ID, and then primary key, right? And then oh my bad.
ID into primary key. ID
I
into
said
primary key. Yeah.
Cool.
Not null. Primary key is not null only.
Okay, primary key not null. It is added by default.
Yeah.
We
Default.
don't
Yeah.
need to write
Specifically
this
meant.
again, right? Yes. Because the thing is, what happens with this? I mean, in earlier cases also, we haven't added this thing, right?
Yes.
It was already there. When we declare something to be primary key, then two checks it gets by its own, right? One
Yes.
thing is, what's the use of primary key? Primary key is used to
For
get
uniqueness and not null.
come again.
For making the record unique and not null.
Yes. Okay. Yes. One thing is that to fetch the data from a table, and
Yeah.
there should be only one row that is
Yeah.
that key should be unique to a single row in one
Yeah.
table, and the other thing is that it cannot be duplicate. So unique thing, and one more thing,
Yeah.
that it should be not null. So
Not
not null
null.
and unique constraints are by default provided to you if you mention one column to be the primary key, right?
Yeah.
So let's add more thing. Let's add product ID, and then integer, and then not null. Cool. And now what we require is foreign key, right? FORIGN, foreign, and then key, right? And foreign key should be the user ID.
Okay.
The user ID, and then there should be some reference, right? There should be
Yes.
some reference to it. So references, and then it the references would be the users and the ID of users, right? It could be that
Yeah.
what happened foreign key. Okay, my bad. But wait, one more thing require. Oh shit, I have wasted the entire query. Wait, copy. Let's first end this, then paste, and then oh shit, again same thing. Paste, and then this and this and this. Column user ID, foreign key constraint does not exist. What is it saying?
Only ID, I think. Foreign key user underscore ID. Not exist.
In user
Right.
table, this is ID, right?
Yes, sir.
Ting 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 ting. Double
Yeah.
check and this now. Great.
Yeah.
So foreign key ID, users ID.
Differences. Yeah.
Okay, now if we do the orders, describe the orders table.
Yeah.
So references, users ID, and the foreign keys ID, right?
Mm.
ID. Oh, where's the primary key? Okay, we have just we just override the column. So create table
Mm.
public
Dot
null
orders.
orders, then ID integer
ID primary key,
key, then
key
product underscore
product underscore ID,
ID, then
not
integer,
null.
then not null. Now
Um,
what we have done?
Foreign key.
FOREI
Foreign.
FOR
For
EIG
IGN foreign key ID
ID,
references users of ID.
then user ID. अरे
User
यार,
ID, user underscore ID will be not there. Only ID.
and paste. Okay, my bad. But the thing is with this, if foreign key is ID, references user ID, references user ID is nice, then foreign key ID should not be mandatory. Earlier drop table, because the wrong thing with this is, if I'll try to describe the orders, then there is no primary key. This is the bad thing, because we are overriding IDs over here as well and IDs over here as well, right? So this thing is not making
Primary key is displaying, sir.
this foreign key, this thing should be user underscore ID. Okay, drop table orders. Cool. User ID reference in the foreign key constraint does not exist. Okay, but if I name them this, then it is overriding my primary key. Foreign key, user, reference, user, and ID. It is not making sense, because if I won't be able to change the ID, my ID should be ID, right? Because every table should have the ID only, right? It will be ID of
Yes.
the table. Order ID will be table. It should not force me to make my ID order ID. So foreign key is ID, so I am giving reference of users table and column user ID. Reference in the foreign key constraint does not exist.
Sir, in indexes, it is showing primary key also, no, sir?
Come again?
In indexes, if you observe the top of the screen, under indexes, there is a primary.
Okay, yes.
Yeah. So I think we have created correct query only.
Come again?
Yeah. Like we have this is character query only now, sir.
Yes.
Yeah,
Now you have, okay, cause see the thing is, when we haven't provided anything over here, right?
yeah,
If we want one more thing over here,
yeah,
if we
yeah,
want that product ID, instead of product ID we need to add column, right? User
yeah,
ID,
yeah,
and then we can add, if I alter the command, alter
yeah.
public orders, sorry, alter table public orders, right? And
Yes,
then
yes,
add column user underscore ID,
yeah.
and then enter data type.
That's
Public
not
orders
it.
does not exist. What's the type, what's the name of it, what's the relation? Okay, okay, it does not exist right now. Cool. Now it exists. Now I have done this. All right.
Yes.
So what will happen now? If I'll do this and do orders, then I will have user ID as well, right?
Yeah, yeah,
And now when I have the user ID, then can I add the constraint here? Alter table public
dot
orders,
users.
right?
Yes.
Add constraint,
Uh,
nothing new till now.
yeah.
Constraint name foreign,
Foreign
oh,
key.
foreign key cons foreign key constraint. Okay, so the query is up and down, but it's completely fine, right? It
Yes,
is going
yes.
to read it in a single code.
Yeah.
So we have written the constraint name and then foreign
Key.
key, right? And then column name, and the column name will be
User
user
underscore.
underscore ID, and then the same thing that we have done earlier,
Yeah.
references, right? And
Cool.
then the other table name,
Yeah, yeah.
other table name will be users,
Users.
and then the other ID name, right?
ID. Yes.
This thing, if I do foreign, so if we, okay, I need to write it in a single line. It should have worked in different lines as well. Okay, underscore, we don't need to write underscore, that's why. Constraint foreign, it is saying that alter command at syntax error near foreign.
Underscore should be there, I think. So it's name.
No,
Maybe.
underscore is not required. Constraint foreign, okay, constraint, oh, my bad.
Yeah.
The thing is the name
Yeah,
over
yeah,
here,
name.
it's not required
The
underscore,
type.
but
Yeah.
over here it's required underscore, right?
Yeah.
So the table is altered, right? Now if
Yes.
I'll do the public orders, the orders, then what I have done, now my
Order
user
ID.
ID is having, this one is foreign key constraint that is associated with the user ID,
User. Yeah.
right? So there are two ways to put
Yeah.
the foreign key constraint.
Yes.
One is you can have the data in your table as well, and the
Yeah.
other thing is you don't require the data in your table, right?
Okay.
And then if one thing is required, one thing is available, right, without
Yeah.
the constraint also we can write the data, right?
Yeah.
Then too, you will find that you will always see in your tables that this thing is happening, that you have one key there, right? You foreign, this is the foreign key, this is the user ID is a foreign key, right?
Yes, yes.
And what is the foreign key? Foreign key is the primary key of
Right.
some other table, right?
Yes, yes.
So you will see this key in your table. The reason
Yeah.
is, okay, just give me 1 second.
Yes.
Nice. So okay, this is my cat, and
Okay.
he's going to shout for a while.
Yeah.
Okay, so you will see that instead of this foreign key, I mean
Yes.
column, instead of column less column key, foreign key,
Yeah.
you will see that there is a column for the foreign key as well. You will find this one, right? And the
Yes.
reason is, I mean, can you speculate the reason why we keep the data as well?
Yeah. To To make the sync, sir, like suppose if that particular user
Come again.
related orders to know the uh, particular user orders, we'll use this foreign keys.
See, data, we are duplicating the data, right?
Yes, sir.
There is user ID data in two columns, right?
Yes, sir.
So the thing is, why we make this, and the reason is, what you said is completely correct, to make the
Yes.
SQL queries easier, right?
Yes, sir. Yes, yes.
So one thing, and the other thing is that this thing is completely useless for us, because if you
Yes.
don't have which user, you just made sure that okay, this particular
Yeah.
user, I mean, if the user does not exist, you are not going to make an order, right? if
Yes,
if
sir.
there is a user with 1 to 10 user ID,
Yes, sir.
then if you try to make an order for 11 user ID, then it won't let you, right?
Yes, sir.
But without the user column, you won't be able to know which order is of which user, right?
Yes, sir.
So without the column, you will never find a foreign key,
Ye-
because it won't make sense in the real life,
Yes.
right? I mean, you will think that you are safeguarding the consistency, and you are trying to follow the first normalization form, which states that you should not duplicate the data. But the
Yes.
thing is, if we don't duplicate some data to some extent, then we won't be able to get the complete picture of the system. And in
Yes.
real life, we don't follow the NF forms, normalization forms, completely what they say, because we need
Yes.
to
Yes.
make our queries easier as well, right?
Yes,
Otherwise,
sir.
otherwise what will happen, that if there is some other thing, then I mean, this is the very basic example, right? So we are not
Yes.
duplicating a lot of things. This is the mandatory item, user ID. Without user ID in your orders column, you should not make any order, right? Because
Yes, sir.
every order should state that who is the owner of that particular order. So
Yes.
this is not the violation of complete violation of the first normalization form, non-duplicacy of data. But sometimes you will find that we require to duplicate the data,
Yes.
and the reason is, we don't need to go into the textual format, right?
Yes.
We just need to make sure our system is fast. That's a requirement from
Yeah.
the backend team.
Yeah. Yeah.
So if I am duplicating the data, but by duplicating the data, I am making my query faster. And how I
Yes.
can make the query faster? By duplicating the data, I remove the requirement to make a join.
Yeah.
If the join is way too costly for you and you need your query to run faster, then what you can do, you can duplicate the data in some extents only, right? It is not
Yes.
advisable, but in some extents only you can do that. So
Yeah.
those things happen. But right now, in this particular case, without any user ID, you should not make a user, even though
Yeah.
you can add a constraint. So that's why
Yes.
you will see that you will find almost not a single uh, not a single foreign key written in this way, right?
Yeah.
Because we require the data as well. You will find every foreign key in the above manner only. Cool.
Yeah.
So now we have seen all the 6 constraints, right? So we
Yes,
have
sir.
seen check constraint, we have seen default constraint, right? And we have seen if we alter, I mean, if we create the different checks, if we make some checks that uh, that are not applicable with each other,
Yeah. Yeah.
then the default will not work, right? Without
Yes,
default,
sir.
we won't be able to insert properly.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then last thing that we have seen is the foreign key constraint.
Foreign country. Yeah.
And foreign key constraint, what we have seen, so you will find that while creating the database table, we
Yeah.
will never use the foreign key constraint. It usually added later on,
Yeah. Yeah.
because only a single, and even during the creation of a table, if during the creation of table also, if we use it, then we use it by
Yeah.
creating a column, right? Because the
Yes, sir.
column is required, it is mandatory. Cool.
Yeah.
And let's end the session here.